Hi, everybody. I am Kevin Ioli, and it is my pleasure right now to be joined by one of the best fighters in the world, a silver medalist in 2008, a multi-division world champion, Mr. Amir King Khan. How are you, Amir?
I'm doing well, Kevin. It was 2004
2004.
of the
I forgot how
Olympics.
old. I forget how old you are.
Yeah, I'm now 32 years old, so it's crazy how long ago it was. I was only 17 at the time.
Yeah, I was going to say. I remember the 2005 debut. You were the main event. It was crazy right off the
It was
bat.
exactly. I mean, straight after the Olympic Games, I started topping bills. My first fight, it was amazing, to be in that position where I was selling at arenas for fight number one.
Yeah, I wonder now. You fought Canelo Alvarez a couple years ago in the first boxing match at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. You're going up against
Yeah.
Terence Crawford. I believe Terence Crawford's the best pound for pound fighter in the world now. I personally have Crawford, Spence, and Lomachenko 1, 2, 3. But no matter where you rank him, you would have to agree he's one of the best in the world. Do you feel like they're bringing you in as kind of a hired gun? You got a big name, you're an opponent, but you're an opponent. That's why they're taking you.
No, I mean, I think they wanna put Crawford in a big fight. How many big fights are there out there for him? And they're not gonna really have that many promotional arguments or promotional issues. With me, obviously I'm with Matchroom, also have my own promotion, which is Amir Khan Promotions. So what happens there is, they need someone that's not gonna be any problem making a fight with. So that's the reason I think when the call was put to me, they know it's going to be an exciting fight. I mean, no fight I've ever gone in is been boring. I mean, it's always an exciting fight, regardless what happens in the fight. I come to fight and I come to win. So I think when they put all that together, they thought maybe this is a good fight and it's going to be a lot easier to make than probably a Spence fight or another big name because obviously with the promotional issues, sometimes they all have their own egos. But with me, I mean, I've always kept it cool with all the promoters from Golden Boy to Bob, Top Rank, to Matchroom, to Al Heyman. I've kept it cool with everyone and I've worked with all of them. So yeah, again, it was quite easy to get this fight done.
I was going to give you credit. You fought pretty much everybody. I pulled up a list of what I consider impressive wins. Marco Antonio Barrera, a Hall of Famer at 135. Marcos Maidana at 140. That's a really good win. People who say you don't have a good chin, tell them about the Maidana fight. Paulie Malignaggi, Zab Judah, Louis Collazo, Devin Alexander, Chris Algieri. So you've been in with a lot of good guys. Now, I'm not big into this fight, but I know a lot of people who watch were you and Kell Brook, and that's the one guy you haven't fought.
Yeah,
Why haven't you fought Kell Brook, for God's sake, especially now that you're with Eddie?
exactly. I mean, I honestly, if this fight didn't happen against Crawford, it would have been the Kell Brook fight. And I just feel like Crawford stepped in, and there was more to offer there was more to offer, and that's the reason I took that fight. Whereas the Kell Brook fight, it would have been a big fight in the UK, 100%. It would have made good money as well, and at the same time, um, there was. I just feel that a name like Crawford won't be I won't ever get the opportunity again, maybe. Even if I beat Kell Brook, I might still not get the opportunity to fight someone like Crawford, who's up there as one of the best pound for pound fighters, fight for another world title. So this was just a massive opportunity for me to take this because it's not only a big fight, but at the same time I'm fighting for uh, to be one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world, and also fighting for another world title. The Kell Brook fight was just a big name, that was just a British rival fight. But that fight can still happen in the future. But at the moment, I think this one shine more to me.
Amir, I think the people who are criticizing the fight, their argument would be, who did you beat to earn this opportunity? You lose to Canelo, and nobody argues that, but you come
Mhm.
back with back-to-back wins over Phil LaGreco and Vargas, and even you yourself said the Vargas performance wasn't that great. So
Yeah.
do you understand the critics that are out there saying, hey, Crawford should have fought somebody that had brought more to the table than Amir Khan?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. They're always gonna make them remarks, and I mean, if I went in there and knocked Vargas out in 1 or 2 rounds, then they would have said, "Oh, it's a brilliant fight. This is." But because they
Right.
went the full distance, and you know, I mean, I'm quite happy he went the full distance, and it was a bit of a tough fight for me because if they remember, I was out the ring for 2 years before that because of my hand injury, and then I came back with the Greco fight and stopped him in within 30 seconds. it wasn't really a proper fight for me. I needed to get myself in a proper fight and a grueling fight where I was going to get the hands on the belt. That's what happened in the Vargas fight. I mean, there were times where I could have put the pressure on, but obviously, I still wanted to go the full distance to get that ring experience. Not only that, obviously, change of trainer. I've gone now back from Joe Goosen to Virgil Hunter because Virgil was a little bit sick at the time. So obviously, I went there. I worked with Joe Goosen for a while. But I think putting everything together, I'm glad that now this fight is made. For those people, even if it is Crawford as well, think that it's going to be easy fight for him, and they're taking me from the last fight against Vargas, then I think I'm going to shock the world, definitely. If they are thinking I'm going to be the same fighter as that fight, then they will see a big shock.
Yeah, I don't. I know you're not going to be the same fighter from that fight. There's no doubt
And
about that.
also another one is, when you fighting someone who's up there as one of the best fighters in the world, you have to step your game up. You have to
Right.
step your game. I'm one of them fighters. I do step myself up, and I know that for this fight, I can't fight like I did in previous fights. I have to step my game up quite highly, and by having them nerves, having that excitement, and having that belief, it's only going to bring the best at me.
I want to ask you this. When Bob Arum is promoting the fight, so he's trying to sell you as the opponent, and he said after Mikey Garcia lost, he kind of criticized Mikey, and he said Amir Khan goes into a fight intending to win. His boxing ability is phenomenal. Could give Terence Crawford fits. He is capable of pulling the upset. But back in 2016, in talking to your friend Gareth Davies from The Telegraph, he said Amir Khan means absolutely nothing in the United States. He brought over no people for the Canelo fight. He saved the Brits a lot of agony. He is not a draw on pay-per-view in England. He is looked upon on both sides of the pond as yesterday's news. So how do you take that? You hear who is now your promoter said that about you not that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, you're always gonna have promoters talking bad about you. I mean, same with Eddie when I'm with Eddie at the moment as well. There was times where he put me down so much and said I had no chance, but now he's praising me. Same again with Bob. Bob's promoting this fight. He was putting me down, and now he's praising me. That I think that all comes down to I'm a threat to all these people. That's why they have to, and they know that. I mean, why would someone mention ticket sales or why would someone mention popularity when they know I am popular? And I mean, look at this fight. How much popularity it's got already. So I just feel that sometimes when you're not with a promoter, you're not with a manager, they're always going to put you down. They're always going to make you look smaller than you are. I mean, I never go around saying I'm a big guy. I'm a big name. I let the public make that up. And at the moment, having people like Bob now saying that, well, he's praising me at the moment. I mean, he's promoting the fight. I see that, but at the same time, when maybe at the time when I wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao and that fight didn't happen, and I was chasing that, Bob was promoting him. Maybe he knew it was going to be a hard fight for Manny Pacquiao, so he had to put me down for to not to make that fight. So these promoters are always just promoting their own guys, and they want to promote. If I was his guy from the start, I would have been the best fighter since sliced bread.
No, no
But
doubt.
it is what it is. I think it's just one of them things. He's not going to promote a fighter who is not under his banner.
We know Bob is in the Hall of Fame for a reason, and he knows how to switch it up when he
That
needs to.
exactly. You have to sometimes switch parties, and he knows deep down that what type of fighter I am. And I know he's a great promoter, and sometimes the promoter's job is to promote a fight and not build a fighter up who he wants to avoid really.
What do you think makes Crawford so good? I know you believe you're going to beat him, but what makes Terence Crawford such an elite fighter, in your
Okay,
opinion?
so he has a very good hand IQ, and his IQ is very high, where he knows what punches to throw. He's very patient, and he throws the right shots at the right time. Okay, I respect that, but I don't think he's that anyone with the same explosiveness, the speed, and everything that I have. Okay, a lot of people are saying, okay, you're going to be sticky. You're just talking about your speed, but okay, I'm put the speed to a side. I think just my boxing skills. I don't think about the credit for the boxing skills I have. But I think this fight, I will show my own boxing skills as well as, maybe showing it up against Terence Crawford, and we'll see who the most skillful fighter is. I never really get the opportunity where I have to showcase my skills because it becomes more of a grueling and a physical fight. But this time, I think it'll be a time where I'd have to show my skills, and you'll see it.
he seems to be a guy that has such good footwork, and he's able to break guys down as fights go on. How do you counter that?
I mean, I've fought guys early in my career, especially in the amateur career, who I had to quickly think and break down fights and change my game plan and adapt quickly. I think I've got that in me, and I know I've got that in me, so I've got that confidence that I can change and I can adapt as a fight goes on. Same with this fight. I mean, when I go into this fight, I'm gonna have to adapt quickly. There's gonna come times where I have to change up, and it's because I believe that I've never really been tested on the boxing side by anyone. I mean, if you look at the fights I've had, I mean, I'll probably outboxing the guys, and then I'll probably got caught with a big shot and got put away. For example, Canelo. But overall, I mean, I don't think anyone's ever outboxed me, and I think going into this fight against Crawford, I don't think he'll outbox me either.
I want to, you've heard this where people mock you and say you don't have a good chin. Now, obviously Canelo is way bigger than you are. He just won a 168-pound title. So I think anybody that thought, that was a, bad chin on your part just wasn't watching. And Danny Garcia, I have talked to fighters. Keith Thurman one time told me how hard of a hitter Danny Garcia is. And I wonder if you think this notion that your chin is questionable is mistaken and is something that maybe Crawford's going to be surprised by in the fight.
Definitely. I mean, they're always going to say, if you get caught with a big shot, you can put away a lot of people. And obviously, I ran onto shots. I mean, Garcia was a big puncher. You've got Prescott. When I fought him, he was a very big puncher. He had all his fights were won by knockouts. Then you've had Canelo, who's a very big puncher. I mean, there are three fights where I've been probably knocked out, but obviously I've fought with my heart, and as I've got older, I've started thinking more, and I've started boxing and being smarter instead of running in and getting hit with shots and not defending myself and showing too much heart. I think it's a time now where you start keep having your hands up, and if you get caught with a shot, there's ways of holding, there's ways of moving away and recovering from that instead of going and getting too macho and trying to, trade and fight with your opponent. So, as I'm getting older, I'm changing. But to be honest with you, I mean, most of the guys, if they were hit with those type of shots, they would have been put down as well. But it is what it is. I always get criticized for not taking a good shot. But I mean, I've still got this far, and there must be something I'm doing right.
For people who are going to be buying this pay-per-view on ESPN, what is the thing that they should look for to know that Amir Khan is doing well in this fight? Like, what is going to be the sign that things are going well for you?
I think when we step in the ring, I think when they see the punch count, and also they see me landing punches on Crawford and good clean punches and boxing well. I think that's when people would all automatically switch over to believe that Amir can win this fight. And I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to go in there and do what I do, do what I do best. Instead of me talking about it, and I'm just gonna maybe I'm just gonna people might be thinking I'm just doing it just to make them support me or maybe believe in me, but no, I rather let them see me on the fight night, and then automatically they'll start believing in me, because once I'm in that ring, there's no turning back, and I'm gonna then put on a great performance. Training camp and everything's been going really well. I've been feeling really good and sharp, and one of the best shapes I've ever been in. So I can't wait to get in there and put a showcase on.
Amir, what do you think it is about Virgil that you click so well? What does he do as a trainer that works, well with you?
So Virgil and myself, we've been working together for the last 6, 7 years, and he knows my body quite well. He knows how to work me, how to train me. He knows when I need them breaks as well, because some coaches might have you in the gym 6 days a week. You might only have one day off, and then you be doing the same stuff over and over again. And I think mentally that you get a little bit bored. You might get a little bit, you just kind of get a little bit just fed up of it. Whereas Virgil knows how much to train me, when to stop, and when to give me days off. I think them days off are as important as working hard, because as a fighter, he knows when I am in the gym, I give it my all and I work very, very hard. So I think he knows me better than any other trainer knows me. I'm one of them type of fighters that if I was told to train 7 days a week, every day for 5 hours a day, I would train for 5 hours a day every day. That's the type of guy I am. But you can't keep boiling water in a kettle because there's going to be nothing left. I think
Right.
Virgil knows me like that as well, where he knows that if he keeps training me too hard every day, there'll be nothing left in me. So I think that's what that's why he knows me well. Also, he knows the fundamentals, how to help me and put me in the right position in a fight, how to defend, how to have a game plan, what to do, what not to do in a fight. So he knows me quite well, really, because he's been around me for that long, especially at the high level of my professional career. Say, for the last 6 years, he's been around me, so he knows what I do best and what I don't do best, and how I need to improve on things.
I was going to ask you, he's most known for his great work with Andre Ward, and I mean, Andre Ward is a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest fighters I ever saw. It seems to me that Virgil understood what Andre could do and what he couldn't do, and he was able to push the right buttons. And is that, kind of what you're saying, where, during a fight, he can make the adjustments knowing, okay, this is what has to happen, and Amir is capable of doing X?
Exactly. So if I'm in the fight and say we do the first 1, 2, 3 rounds and everything's going okay, but then he knows that I can up it a little bit and maybe change it up a little bit. He knows then he knows what I can do to step it up. He knows what things I'm going to be comfortable doing. So when a coach knows you that well and has spent that much time with you, he can be a big help in the corner as well as just being a trainer.
Yeah, let's wrap it up with just a couple more questions. If you beat Terence Crawford, number one, I would assume you agree this would be your most significant win.
Yes, it will be up there as 100% as maybe the best win. It put me right up there per rankings, and I always I always believed that I'll be up there in the per rankings. I just need that one opportunity in the 147-pound division. I am unbeaten. I feel very comfortable at this weight. I feel very strong at this weight. I think this is the ideal weight for me. I'm not giving too much away. I'm quick at this weight. I'm fast and I feel nice and loose and light and quick. So yeah, I mean, this is a massive fight for me, and I'm going to grab it with both hands. I say, look, these opportunities don't come every day, so this is an opportunity that I'm going to take and grab with both hands.
I know, Amir, there's so many great welterweights out there. That's why I think that this fight's so significant because the winner has a lot of options. But
Right.
when you look at Terrence, you say it might be hard to get Errol Spence. It might be hard to get Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. From your standpoint, like you said at the beginning, do you feel like if you beat Crawford that you have the ability to go to Al Haymon and say, I want to fight Errol Spence or I want to fight, Keith Thurman or Pacquiao even?
Definitely. I mean, I think that'll be easier to make because now, after working with Bob on this fight, I will literally work with all the promoters on big fights. So going back to another opponent, to another promoter, say being Al Haymon, let's get these fights done. I mean, he knows me quite well. We speak, so I'm sure he won't say no to that. And plus, he knows that I sell tickets well. I'm a big name in boxing, and I'll have titles to offer as well. So I'm sure they'll want to take those fights.
And let me wrap up with this. I just find this interesting because we're kind of at a flexion point in boxing where you have all these great TV deals, especially in the U.S. And
Mm.
I think there's more good fighters now than there's been in a long, long time, in my opinion. But a lot of times fans are frustrated because the best guys don't fight the best. You
Yes.
mentioned you work with Eddie Hearn, Bob now, and you had Al. What is different about them? And do you ever see any hope that those three can work together to intermingle you guys so it doesn't matter who's promoted or what network they're on, that the best guys will fight the best guys?
I mean, I hope it gets to that one day because what we're seeing at the moment is UFC is surpassing boxing because they're putting the big fights on and the best are fighting the best. Whoever would have fought Conor McGregor and Khabib would have fought so soon. When people start talking about it, the fight was made before you knew it. Imagine if they were boxers, you would never see that fight
Never. Yeah.
because, So this is where we need to take a leaf out of the book of UFC. We need to follow their footsteps and see why they're getting these big pay-per-view numbers, why they're getting big viewerships because they're the best are fighting the best. Now it needs to come to a stage where we need to do that. And maybe it can happen. It can follow after this fight with me and Terence Crawford, me being with a different promoter, me being with Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and Terence being with Top Rank. We made that fight happen because we want to. We were the big names in boxing, the best want to fight the best. I think after this, hopefully, I'm sure Al can sit with Bob and make fights happen as well because they have a huge stable, each of them, and there's going to come a stage where they're going to be stuck. Their fighters are going to get bored. They want to be in the big fights. They want to fight the best, like what's happening now. And so what do? I mean, do they just let the fighters keep fighting bums and knocking bums out, or do they let them, take them big risk fights? So I think this is hurting boxing really. If they don't work together, it's going to hurt boxing. So let's hope that boxing stays up there as one of the top fighting sports. Because if this doesn't happen, I think it can definitely destroy the sport.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. Amir, I appreciate you. Wish you the best. I had a great career and a lot more ahead of you. All the best, Amir. Thank
Definitely,
you.
man. Thank you very much. Nice speaking to you, Kevin. Thank you.
Bye.
All the best.